The first big domino on the trade market has fallen. The Vancouver Canucks have indeed traded former captain Bo Horvat to the New York Islanders in exchange for Anthony Beauvillier, Aatu Räty, and a protected 2023 first-round pick. This deal kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, we all knew the Vancouver Canucks were likely going to move Horvat at some point between now and the deadline, but usually when big trades like this happen, there's reports on like these two teams are working on something or keep an eye on this, but there really wasn't anything. It's worth noting that this deal did not come with any kind of contract extension for Bo Horvat, so as of right now, this is a rental for the New York Islanders, a team that's on the outside looking in of the playoff race. That being said, that 2023 protected first-round pick they sent to the Vancouver Canucks in this deal is top 12 protected. If the pick lands in the top 12, the Islanders will keep it and then shift this pick to a 2024 first-rounder, which would be unprotected, which is obviously huge. So this pick that the Islanders are trading, there's absolutely no way it could turn out to be like Connor Bedard. They're not going to be in a situation that the Florida Panthers are in. So before we talk about the return for the Vancouver Canucks, let's talk about the fit of Bo Horvat in New York. It's kind of funny. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the video I posted earlier today where we kind of previewed every NHL team heading into the trade deadline. And when talking about the New York Islanders, I said I feel like they need to make a big splash. They need an elite level finisher. And, 4 hours, 5 hours later, that's exactly what they go out and do, getting a guy in Bo Horvat who's currently 8th in the NHL in goals. Now, I also said they shouldn't trade their first round pick just because of where they're at in the standings right now, but the fact it is top 12 protected makes me totally fine with it. This now gives the New York Islanders a three-headed monster down the middle of Matthew Barzal, Bo Horvat, and Brock Nelson, who's having a really underrated season. That is some fantastic center depth. They definitely gave up a lot. I like Beauvillier. I think he's a quality middle six winger, but it's no secret that Horvat is definitely an upgrade over Beauvillier. Obviously, we already touched on the first round pick, which again, really happy for Islanders fans that pick is protected. And then they gave up their best prospect in Aatu Räty, and the Islanders prospect pool, even with Räty, was probably one of the worst in the league, at least in the bottom quarter. I think it's really interesting that a team, on the outside looking into the playoff race, and it's not like they're just 1 or 2 points back, is going for it like this, but hey, I respect it. It feels like the New York Islanders are always involved when big name players are available, whether it's available for trade or in free agency, and over the past 2-3 years, they just never got the player. They finally got, the big fish available in Bo Horvat. There's definitely some risk involved because, like I said, there is no contract extension on the table just yet. So say if the New York Islanders don't wind up making the postseason, which I think is still very possible, and then Bo Horvat walks as a UFA, this could turn out to be a disaster. Gotta think Lamoriello probably doesn't make this deal, though, if he doesn't at least think he has a good chance of extending Bo Horvat, whether that's, in the next couple of weeks or at the end of the season before free agency opens. Overall, I think this is a good trade for the Islanders. Again, it all goes back to that pick being protected, in my opinion. It really limits the risk here. Again, like I said, if Horvat leaves and they miss the playoffs, then yeah, that's a lot of assets to give up for pretty much nothing. But again, I'll reiterate, I don't think Lamoriello makes a big trade like this without at least an inkling that he can extend Horvat. So let's now look at this deal from the point of view of the Vancouver Canucks. Seen a lot of mixed emotions from Canucks fans on Twitter when this trade initially broke, but this is pretty much what I expected a return for Bo Horvat to look like. Rutherford said he wanted a young roster player that can come in and contribute right away, and Beauvillier can definitely do that. He's 25 years old. Like I said, I think he's a quality middle six winger, and I still think there's more there with Beauvillier. This is a guy who's had some really impressive playoff runs with the New York Islanders, just hasn't really been able to translate that over to regular season success, but I think there's a 20-goal scorer here. I think there's a guy who can be, consistently above a half-point per game player. You're also getting the best prospect from the New York Islanders system in Aatu Räty, a second-round pick from the 2021 NHL draft. He's got 15 points this season in 27 American Hockey League games. He scored 2 goals in the NHL as well in 12 appearances. I really like Aatu Räty. I think there's a ton of upside there, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a guy we see be a full-timer for the Vancouver Canucks as soon as next season. And then you're also getting that first-round pick, which, yeah, it is protected, but if you're the Canucks, you're probably hoping the Islanders make the playoffs and that pick shifts to a unprotected 2024 first-rounder. Overall, I think that is really good value in return for a player who we knew likely wasn't going to re-sign. They didn't make the same mistake again here that they made with JT Miller. They cashed in on a player's value who was having a career year, who is having a career year. Rutherford said he wanted to retool, didn't want to go through a full-fledged rebuild, and this is the kind of return that can help you rebuild on the fly. Getting a young-ish roster player who can step in right away, a guy in Aatu Räty who, like I said, I think can play as soon as next season full-time, and then the first rounder, which, yeah, you could use that to draft, or maybe maybe they could swing a couple other deals if they want to go out and try and be aggressive. Overall, I think this is a pretty fair deal for both sides. I'm not someone who labels a team as a winner as soon as the trade is made. I used to do that, and it usually doesn't end too well. So obviously, we're going to have to wait and see over the next couple of seasons how this plays out. But just at surface value for both sides, I think they both did pretty well. Like I said, I know I saw a lot of mixed emotions from Canucks fans on Twitter, but I feel like that's kind of just because there's a lot of sentimental value there with Bo Horvat. Obviously, he's been a member of the team since he was drafted back in 2011. He's been the captain. Losing a player like that is never easy, but honestly, I feel like trading Horvat and cashing in on his value being at an all-time high is the best decision the team could have made. So that is going to wrap up today's video breaking down the blockbuster trade between the Vancouver Canucks and the New York Islanders. As always, especially when it comes to trades like this, I want to know your guys' thoughts, so leave all your thoughts about this deal down below in the comments, especially if you're a fan of either team involved, and most importantly, if this is your first time checking out the channel and you want more NHL content just like this all year long, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you all soon.